Hey guys, so this time we're going to check. Let me close this. Okay, this is the third time I try this. So let's just check role-based authentication with Firebase and Angular 7. This one is still Angular 7. It should work with Angular 8, so don't worry about it. You might need to adjust the lazy loading modules, but that shouldn't be a problem since it doesn't seem to be that hard to do. So let's try this. I can log in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with this account that has admin permissions. Okay, I can check the admin. I can come back here to the role base, that is the main page, and click this admin only button, and I can go right here. Okay, so I can log out. Let's go to username 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one has just regular user permissions, so I'm not redirected right away to the admin. I can even see the admin here, and if I click here, it's going to tell me you don't have the permissions. Okay, so I cannot access any admin page. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at first the sign up. The sign up is just a regular function. Let's check out sign up. It's just a regular function, as you can see. I mean, a regular function, a regular form. And when we click the sign up, when we submit, we're going to check this sign up method. We're going to use the sign up method, which is going to have an email and password as parameters, and we're going to run this authentication that is just this is from Firebase. You can see I have the Fireauth, and the Fireauth is going to be used as AF auth. So we're going to create the user with email and password that we have from the form, and on the user response we're going to create this new user using the ID, the user ID, and the email coming from the response object, I mean from the user object inside the response that we are getting. Okay, and we're going to assign this role user. So every time we create one, I have 2 users already, 3 users, but 2 with only user. Okay, so every time we create that, you will have to, well, you will have the files, so you can check this with your database. So every time we create a new user, it's going to have this user role, and that's it. If you want to change this admin, you can either change it here, have someone to change it inside database, or better, have another application that only accesses these users, okay, that is not out there in the public as your application, and you can receive I don't know, you can check the users, and depending on I don't know which factors, you could change you could easily return the users collection and return the roles and change the roles to user and admin. But to have this application in another, I don't know, server or another you know, not inside this specific application, to have it somewhere else. So let's continue. So this one is creating the database, adding the user to the database, I mean to the users collection. You're going to add the user, and then we're going to use this user reference to set our current user, that is up here, and then set our user status, that we need this in order to change the navigation. The navigation changes to this. Okay, let me show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, this is a sign up. Login. One. Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Login. Okay, you can see that changes. Okay, and we're going to be navigated to the new, to the main page that is just this role base, this regular section. At first, why? Because we are going to set the user to be this, to have the role of user. So this is going to be always every time we create a new user. Okay, so we are not going to allow any user to be created as admin. We will have another application to do that. Okay, or you should have another application that deals with the user's role permissions. So you don't have that in this application. Okay, so let's take a look at this that set user status is using the behavior object to create a subscription, and every time we're going to run that set user status, we're going to add the new status to the user changes, so we can use this user changes as a subscription, and fuck this, and inside the app component we're going to use the status changes that already, well, that it now has the subscription. Okay, you can now subscribe to that and use a new variable that we have here that is using the same name, user status, that is going to be assigned this user status we have inside this. Okay, so this is going to be the user status. Right now it's going to be null because we don't have anything, so this user status is going to be null, and when everything when it changes, we're going to subscribe to those changes and set this user status to what it have. Okay, so this is what this thing is doing, and let's go to app component so we can get rid of this. I'm just consoling the user status that is the same user, and you can deal with this however you want. I'm just doing the subscription right now, right here, because I do that almost all the time. So let me check, because I was going to check the app HTML. So here I'm just checking if the user status is null or not, and showing either a sign up or the login. If the user status is null, meaning there's no user, and if the user status is set and the role is admin, I'm going to show this router link with the admin that is here, and that's why when we log in with a regular user, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're not going to see that. But of course we can see this one here because I didn't add anything. And also, if the user status is not null, we're going to show the logout button. So the subscription is managing that. Let's close this. Let's close this. We don't need it anymore. And let's continue. So here we already have the user sign up. The account has been created, and that's it for the sign up. Let's log out. Okay, so let's continue. Now when we log in, we're going to sign in with the email and password that is coming from this part. Okay, And then we're going to check if we have the user email inside our users. So we will need to loop inside this to check. We're going to tell Firestore, since the users here okay are not will not be allowed to have the same email, so that is unique. So in the database we can use that uniqueness to check for the email of the user. So if the user's collection have the email assigned to the username, we're going to receive the document. And as I'm saying here, I'm consoling the document that we should. Let me refresh this. One, two, three, five. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, the user reference is coming from here, so it's I'm consoling twice. Okay, one is from service 105 and the other one is from service 66. So it's being consoled 2 times. I'm guessing because it's the out changes. So we will take a look at that. So you can see the ID, the role, and the username. So this username is going to we're going to assign this current username to the data after we log in, as we did here when we sign up. So the user is so we have this current user. We can use the information whenever we want, and we're going to manage this subscription again. That is going to change this again to be this current user. You can use also true, false, I don't know, whatever you want. I'm just using the user. So if the user data role is equals to, or I mean, is not equal to admin, meaning it's just a regular user, we're just going to navigate that user to the main page. And if we have a role admin, we're going to redirect to the admin page right away after they log in. So this is the logout. Okay, we already checked the database. So, okay, the logout is just going to log out the user, setting everything to, okay, setting the current user to null, and the set user status to null, so it can return to this sign up and login state. And we're going to navigate to the login, and that's it. So the only thing I think that is left, let's log in with username 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I covered everything, right? The sign up, the login, and there's no reason to check the code, the HTML, but let's take a look if there's something that is missing on the components. We can see we're using user login in this login form, and we are using the, okay, we're going to check out and that in a second, but I just wanted to take all this service functionality to take it out right away. So let me go back to this service. So as I said, this current user is going to be null, so to be logged out, and you will see why we need to do this and set the listener to be null for the UI to react. So for us to react here, okay, we have this button. Let me go to this button that is inside the main. So that's it, and we're going to navigate to the login. So let me go to the main component. and we can check using the Firebase service if the Firebase current user is set and this Firebase service current user role is equals to admin. We're going to allow the user to navigate to admin, else we are going to console that the user doesn't have permission to do that. So in this case, this user is not an admin user because we don't have access to the admin. Okay, I can click as many times as I want and it's going to say the same. So let's log out. Let's log in with my account 1 2 3 4 5 6. Login, and you can see that we are redirected to the admin. We can go to the role base regular section, and if I click admin, okay, I can go to the admin section. So that's how you can check using the roles to show, hide, allow functionality using the roles. Okay, so let's check the out because I have the out here. So this is the part that is going to avoid us or the user that has just a regular account to be able to go to the other pages. So we're using the Firebase service here, okay, and we're going to set this current user inside here, this constant, to be the Firebase service current user. So we are not going to manage the out state here. So that's why we are going to set null or something else to the current user that is inside the service, this current user. That's why, let me check, we need to set this current user to be something, and again the subscription to be something too, but that's not a part of this. So we need to set this current user to be something because inside the outward we are checking for that. So if the current user check if the route is restricted by role, so we will take these data roles and this next in a second. We will tackle them in a second. So if the current user exists, we are going to check only if the current user exists. We're going to check if this next parameter from the activator route has the data, that is a property, and the roles, that is an object. I think it's an array. So if there's something like this in the route, how we are going to set this in the route? We're going to use, this is role-based authentication. So we're going to use something inside the module that, okay, that close my, let me first, I don't know why they made this shit. Okay, so no, this fucking bullshit. Let me go to the, okay. So I'm using lazy routing, Angular 7. This is going to be a change. The load children is going to be changed, I think, on Angular 8, or it's already changed because Angular 8 is already out. So we're going to check in the route if we have this data property, okay, and inside if we have this also property. This is an object that is receiving a array. So here you can add, if you want, only admin to access that, or whatever you want inside this array. So each one that has, let's go to the guard, let's move this one here. So if this is present, the route has, the next route we're going to go has this data as we have here. It's going to check for that, and if that data has the index of whatever we have as the role of the current user, meaning that this is what we are checking, either checking for the role admin or checking for the role user. So it's going to check that. If that exists inside the array we are generating here, okay, then we're going to allow access, else we're just going to navigate the user to the login page. So that's how we are using the role stored in the user, okay, this thing here, inside our routes. So that's why, and that's how we are checking for that. So you can see we have here the users and admin, and only in the admin we have this data that only have the admin present, meaning it's just only going to allow the admins. So as I said, that's why we have this current user. We're not using the out user as we should use with a regular authentication. Oh, sorry. Let's go here, and that's why we need to set this current user to something. And when we log out, we need to use this. We need to set, this current user to null, because the out is checking for that. So, and the user changes what is. So I made a video about forms, authentication forms using Angular, but I forgot to add the persistence. So let's log in. Let's say let's log in with my account. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Log in. Okay, and if I refresh, it's going to have a little time before it recreates the user, or gets the user from the application. I think it has it on the IndexedDB. Okay, so it has the key, it creates a token. I still have the test name. It didn't delete that. Oh, I'm also, yeah, I'm okay. You're going to check this, but I'm using the index. This is just for another. I think I'm going to create a tutorial right away with that. Not a code review, but a tutorial how to use Dexy. So right now I'm using the test database and adding some images. So I still need to test that. So okay, let's go to IndexedDB. So it's going to create the local authentication, and it's going to take care of checking that. And let's look out. I forgot what I was saying, but you can see how Firebase stores that. Oh, sorry, because it was the 1 2 3 4 5 6. It's going to read that whenever we refresh. So we're not going to lose the user as we would if we hadn't the user changes or the out state change function implemented. So what we're doing here is doing over again the same, checking inside the collections if the current email, what we are having here, even is receiving, we are receiving, no, it's not here. Okay, so I'm not considering that. So if the current user that we have stored using that token that Firebase uses from the IndexedDB, the email matches something inside the username, inside our user's username, and we're going to receive that. And again, we're going to redirect to the admin using this ngjson run to have the to keep the environment, the Angular environment, and navigate either to the main page or to the admin. So let's log out. Let me check. I think that's all. That's actually all. So it's not that hard. No, it has several parts into it, but it's not that hard to manage this role base, this simple role base with users, admins, and all that, creating this little database. So I'm just going to check. Okay, 25 minutes, right? Okay. The because it's saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm not receiving that. Let me log out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because I was getting a warning. Nope. Log out. We refresh to remove all that. Or it's inside. It's when we first start the application. Why is that? So let me. Okay. Then we might need to go to the guard and use this login. We might need to come here to the Firebase app, grab our ngjson again. Okay, so let's remove that. So we're going to get the ngjson from the Angular core. We're going to add the ngjson first, and we're going to copy this because it's this that ngjson.run. I think this that ngjson.run. So it's going to have this. Nope. And I think it's expecting another one. Okay, so let's see if that nope. Navigation isn't, that is not working, right? Okay, so I'm guessing then if we don't need this here, then let's just remove it. I'm just going to check where is that problem. Refresh that. So we should still be able to log in. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You log out. So when I refresh, let me go to that is weird because it's running at first when I refresh, so let me just let me check. This is not going to do anything right now, right? Can say return false. I'm just checking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, still working. Seems to be a bug because you shouldn't need the ng zone. I needed the ng zone here because it was not allowing the changes on the navbar. So that's why I use ng zone here. But it seems that the problem is not here. Let me even remove the cache. Nope, I'm getting that. But let me see if it says um, I will need to check that later, or well, the application is working. So and also just a warning, everything is working fine. But I was expecting it to be, I was expecting the error. Let me remove that. Remove the return false. I was expecting the error to be happening inside the authentication, but it seems it's not. So let's check one last time. Let's say this that ng that run to keep the environment of the application. Login. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can log in, can log out, and nothing is happening there. Everything is working. So I'm not sure what is going on there. Okay, let's maybe it's let me copy this one back again. I'm just going to leave this one here, and you can play with that to see what the problem is. Maybe I'm not seeing something. I often don't get what is going on. This that when I'm recording, because I'm trying to make this fast, so I'm not seeing something. You can play with this. Okay, so let's fresh like that. Okay, so if we check this navigation trigger, also angular zone, let's see what is going on. You can skip all this crap. Okay, you can skip all this. I'm just in letting you know that you could take a look at this. When you prepare Angular calls inside some external JS callback from external JavaScript not related to Angular code. Yeah, that was what was happening with Firebase. Since it was external to Angular, it was checking that, but I just work around and so on. This is what I was checking. I just notified because he didn't add that from Angular. Okay. So I will need to take a look at that. You can also take a look at that. I'm going to upload the repo as it is. So I think I'm not going to bother with that. So that's it. A little warning there that shouldn't be happening because there's nothing else that is changing besides the authentication that is running this login. Because if I say sign up, okay, let me actually close that and open that again. Let's wait for that. Um, okay, why am I returning to login? What the hell? What the hell is going on? Um, lol. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Logout. It's taking me back to login. Is this the correct? Sign up? Is that correct? Well, you need to take a look. You will need to check this out because I'm not sure what is going on. So maybe it's storing in the cache, it's not changing it. I'm not sure what is going on. So you can take a look at that and see you on the next one.